Well, not yet. I can't shut the door until 5 because of another.
But if
Yeah, so, but I don't see why not we couldn't start drinking. We might be one each, we go now.
I just really feel like
Yes, grab it, please.
Who's got a lighter?
Thank you for coming. Now, to begin the performance, we actually need to start on pavement. So, we can all exit the gallery and meet outside the gallery door. That would be great.
Congratulations on the marriage and the baby.
Possibly.
Yeah, but they just met him like 3 years
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, as I walk into
One by one. Could you wait outside, please, Claudia? Thank you. Do you mind if I record this?
No.
Hi, we know each other.
We do.
I'm Toe, you're Dick. I was wondering if I could ask you a question.
Yep.
What brought you here today? Why are you here? What about this attracted you? Or, like, what?
It's complicated.
Can you would you mind telling the recorder who you are?
Dick White.
Why did you come to a Taylor Wells performance? What brought you here?
Friendship is one, obviously. Support, because I think your work's really important, and sometimes it can be quite painful or draining for you to go through those experiences, and I really respect that you go through them. And so I think it's important for me to give away the support I can to that.
That's great.
And a genuine, love of your work.
Wow.
To see what happens next.
Okay. Thanks very much. Please continue into the gallery.
Thanks, Dan.
And I'll see you shortly.
get this.
That's what we're doing. Give me something to amuse Taylor. It's not coming.
Doctor's waiting room.
So you heard about that bill? You're going to be passing a bill which is basically like a two-tier immigration system, so that if you're easy to get in, it can like a...
There was an interior wall.
But that's good, then you get both sides of it.
Yeah. And then it's not a problem if it's slightly invasive. the
Maybe
same
that
place.
makes it be less free and more transparent.
Who am I playing?
Yeah,
that's what I thought I'd do, yeah. So, I think, I don't know, it's hard to know. But, you know,
No, they don't like it because I think it's not very stable. Yeah.
But it's okay to be on the steps.
Yeah.
that was a very romantic thing Amy did to you on Facebook this morning.
You're going to change your name.
I've seen you trying.
It's not me.
That's horrible. I think this.
Hey guys. Hi. So, is this actually
And these is the things that beneficial.
Hey. Did you do like a double act? This is a quadruple.
yes.
It's pretty bunch. Yeah, it's a solid. Oh yeah. Solid 4 people that came out. Okay, I'm Mark. Hi. Hey Mark, tell us. Hey. Yeah, it was good and cute, honest. The conversation? Yeah, it was good because I didn't know who Teo was. Yeah, I gave her I gave her a whole answer. He's very honest, brutally. But it does, it seems like a good dude. And you never know what's going to happen at these things. I really like everyone being on the street, it's really nice. But I mean, we have just done this work all week where we've been on the street, hey? It feels like we're just, it's another, feels part of the work in that way. And I quite like the thing, it going from... That was part of the work.
So is this not officially connected to that?
But it's sort of like hovering.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that Mark asked Teo to respond to the work, which is a really nice gesture. So it becomes kind of like a nice closer. It feels like a closing with the door and everything else.
Yeah, and the tension of not being allowed in.
Yeah.
Pressure on.
Yeah. So I guess in terms of this idea of social sculpture, it feels really, really apt. I really like it.
Yeah.
Confronting.
Yeah, you got to talk to people that you wouldn't necessarily...
Exactly, I like that very much. Yeah.
Outside.
Yeah.
I had a good catch up with Kieran. Kieran, Mr. Stereo.
Mr. Stewart asked him,
Yeah.
he's a nice guy.
Yeah, totally.
That was the deepest conversation I've had so far.
He was charming.
He's a stickler for time, Teo.
Can we roll these blinds down?
No.
Is he going to start now? We're running out of time, so I'm just going to boldly go into this. Thanks everyone for coming. This is obviously a response to Mark productive bodies.
I was unproductive.
Yes, some of you were interviewed for the position of being my audience. That's what we were doing in the door. Some of you didn't get that opportunity, so I don't know really why you're here. But given our juxtaposition, I'm the performer, you're over there witnessing, I'm going to assume you're an audience. So there's some kind of contract that's happening, invoked here, evoked. There's a very classical, and when I mean classical, you know, sturdy structure going on here. You know, the kind of structure that you have a floor, and you have a wall, and you have a roof, you can trust it, that it's got certain cross beams and things. Well, we've got a certain classical structure going on here. You're over there witnessing me. I'm the performer. You can keep performing too. Fine. So at this point, I want to introduce the response.
In a classical sense, it must be that.
What was that?
It's a bit of a classical response.
Yes, it is.
If your opinion.
I don't think I've actually responded yet. Though technically my little play with the interviewing you as an audience, that was the beginning of a comment. Because Mark here also uses techniques to raise points, conceptual points, using his body, using things out of context, like today I saw people voluntarily stand in front of entrances, and as people came and left, they would clap, creating a response in people as if they were good performers, as if they had achieved something simply by existing in a giant circuit. They finally got their acknowledgement from the system that you were right, you're right to exist. It's good. You're fulfilling your good thing. So what I loved about productive bodies was seeing love. They had a lot of love to give. They were unafraid to share it. It was a noble thing. Yeah. It was a powerful thing. Mark is a leader amongst us. There's many leaders here, but I'm talking particularly about his project, okay? So, he led a group of people to show love in a system that needs love. Yeah? I couldn't participate in it because, for me, it was a headless horse. It was open heart surgery on a dead body. It was a bunch of people sweeping a pavement and doing a really beautiful job, standing back and admiring each other's wonderful actions, sweep, loving the broom, loving everyone else, looking at them, doing the good work. But I knew that there's a dump truck arriving in 5 minutes to dump garbage there. And I would say, hey, guys, let's together tell the dump truck not to dump where we've swept. And it seems like a good idea, right? let's tell the dump truck, not the dump where we've just swept. I got an interesting response. I got the response of, well, we can't do that. We can't tell the dump truck what to do. The dump truck's going to come anyway. What we can do though is pick up our brooms and sweep away. Sweep away. Sweep away. Which left me in a really tricky position because here's a whole lot of love going on. And yet, to me, it's a kind of madness. It's a kind of folly. It's actually a waste. It's actually producing an illusion of love to allow the whole thing to continue, to allow the dumping of the garbage and the sweepers to come and sweep it away. Why do I think that? Why do I feel that way? Why am I alone on that idea? Sophie?
I just need you to, can you explain the metaphor a bit more?
Okay.
Because I'm lost, sorry.
All right, I'd like to just answer the question if I might, in an interim though, because you did ask the question. You're not alone for a start.
Yes.
Like that.
Yes.
Right. And really though, you've placed yourself in a higher leadership role, so I would perhaps wonder that you then, might, a little bit of analysis, because you're suggesting that, you're going, what, I don't know, slash the tyres of the dump truck or something. An instant, some sort of action, go to the heart of the problem in the system. Yeah.
Is the problem in the system the tyres though?
I guess we need to know what the garbage truck is. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well, can I just say, we never said we weren't going to stop the dump truck. I mean, if someone had proposed that, we would have tried to stop the dump truck.
Yes.
So we went against that.
We need to explain what the dump truck is. Okay, let me try.
Are you the dump truck?
Would you mind sitting down, because you're kind of distracting me, and I'm finding it hard to concentrate.
But they're not being part of the audience.
Well, can you sit down? Would you mind sitting down? What about I got you a chair?
Glass of wine?
Would you like to hijack?
What if I just stood over here?
I have thought about that, but then I
Well, I can
realised...
see because you're a hijacker, aren't you? It's pretty obvious. So maybe.
Be the dump truck.
Yes, I am the dump truck. I'm full of shit. Unfortunately, I don't have any in my bowels at the moment.
I would assume that the dump truck is a fear-based reward system. Yeah?
No.
No? Consumerism in its simplest form, one must purchase happiness?
No.
What is the dump truck?
You're right about the leadership. I have placed myself in a higher leadership role because I've asked the law to be applied in a situation that is being ignored. As a member of the public, let me explain. We pay taxes for a body of people in this country to be state-paid for intellectuals. I think it's like $11 billion. We give the universities. We're called universities where these intellectuals live. And these people have a job to do. Their job is really, really hard. Because it says in the law, to be a university, okay, you have to accept a role. This role is the critic and conscience of society. Now, that's a heavy burden, that's a serious job. That's like, we have democracy here, we have capitalism here, we can see how they fight and infiltrate and undermine each other. Well, we had a university system that was supposed to help regulate or articulate that battle. Right? That's what that critic and conscience of society. They also talk about things like being independent bodies of knowledge. And of course, what is scholarship? What is authority if you can't stand and be transparent about who's paying your bills? I was transparent about who's paying my bills. The government was when I was unemployed, right? And I said, you know what? The government, Working Income New Zealand is paying my bills, but you know what? They're not doing a very good job. I go to the WINS office and the atmosphere there is oppressive. It's horrible. It's like a stinking cattle yard where we're all waiting for the death bell. Okay? That's not good enough. I pay these taxes. I participate in the society. Why is this being used against me? So I started a PR company on behalf of an agency that represented me, and I asked, do a better job. Here's some ideas. I was silenced. I was censored. They didn't want criticism.
So was that a different, using a dump truck analogy, was that a taking a dump truck, or, you know, because this project is interesting in that it's sort of trying to say...
Maybe I'll get there if you just give me a moment. Sure. Because what I'm getting to is the idea that I made transparent my economy, and I spoke, and that mattered to the public. The media framed it in good guy and bad guy language. That's what they do. They have to sensationalize things to sell the paper. But regardless, the media did see the value of it to the public. The issues that we raised were valuable to the public. That's why they achieved such penetration, why they were continuing on to this day, 2 years later. Okay? Now, I suffered great, and my partner, who also was equally persecuted, incredible pressure, death threats, harassment from a ministry, a year of 3 court cases, okay, for accepting money legitimately as part of a Creative New Zealand project, for having a part-time job. What did I do wrong? I critiqued, and I was the conscience of society, and my position was wrong. What I'm asking, the question is, if we have people who are paid to be critics and conscience of society, that are university lecturers, who are not allowed to tell the public that they are actually paid for intellectuals, we're perpetuating the same censorship, the same fraud on the tax-paying public that I was accused of.
You don't sell billions of dollars worth of student loans. There's a fairly significant difference between you and a university. A university will hopefully, for every 5 students who pay it back, get 1 student who doesn't, whose parents' home will be taken by an overseas banking cartel as it happens upon their eventual death. Right? You're in a significantly different space. You are not claiming New Zealand-owned assets for an international capitalist body.
I'm not challenging that we're in different spaces. I'm trying to put together this idea of a concept of being paid to do a job and not doing that job. Why aren't they allowed to do that job?
Because they are owned by international capital.
Right.
It's their role to sell student loans.
Right.
Which will hopefully not be paid.
Right. So what is a university then? Because at the moment we're, for example, this brings back to the Mark Harvard production. Wicked love, amazing engagement with the public, feel good everywhere, and it was genuine. It was sharp, it was clever, it was intelligent. Okay? And yet, for me, I could not participate in it because none of it was going to matter. None of it was going to accumulate. All it was a spectacle. It was an art spectacle. And that's what made it safe. And that's why, can I just make a point? The reason why it didn't matter is because it's actually just his job. It's just what he should be doing as the university lecturer, as a critic and conscience of society. He needs to be doing this every day. And not only every day, not literally, but the point that I'm trying to make is that the public need to see it. They need to know that our Michael Paraco-Flyers, our Et al.'s, our Harvey, Mark Harvey's, our Ann Noble's, our David Cross's are paid public intellectuals to do a job, to be the critic and conscience of our society. And that is a very difficult job, and you will be punished for it, but you will reap the status that you have. They've got all the status, they've got all the wealth, but they take none of the risk. Yes.
Mark Harvey, is a paid lecturer. He works for a university. But he's also something else. He's one of those people who've gone beyond ego. Not completely in his life, but he has fenced his way to a point where he can see that being in the world and operating without ego is a more, you are kind of, if you believe all the spiritual texts that say that love is the essence of the universe, then egolessness is the only way to love. And so that's my take on what we were doing. And what we create.
I agree. It was what we were doing. It exactly was.
But when you create something that is love, it lasts forever. Only folks, unloved die. So in a sense, we were creating something permanent forever.
Yes, lovely. Sure. Except it's the same love that exists in every capacity. There's no difference to it. And yet we actually have a difference when we have someone be nice for a job. We have a difference when you have a priest who has the authority to interpret something with, we have authority, we have hierarchy in this culture. And Mark has authority and hierarchy, privileges. And part of those privileges are to be a critic and conscience of society. And that is part of an everyday practice that he demonstrated this week. And I'm sure he's demonstrated it multiple times. The point is that he's not allowed to promote his work as an academic artist. Why not?
He is.
Why didn't he do it then? No, why did he not do it? No, let's ask that question. If he is allowed to do it.
But we say that when we talk about his work, we say that he teaches at the University of Auckland. I don't understand. I really don't understand, because we would have worked with him if he was working for the Bottle Washing Association of Parnell. We would have worked with him.
Yes, completely.
We love him, not him as the academic. I don't understand.
Yeah, but you're taking my criticism personally, not seeing a bigger.
No, I'm asking you, how does that change the work? I'm asking you, how does his position at Auckland University change the work?
How does it not change the work?
Yeah, come on.
He's receiving a wage. There's a wage to do this work. Okay, this is critic and conscious society work.
We would have employed
This dude didn't work as the university. What would have happened would have been, he would have been arrested, and it would have been a criminal act, or it would have been laughed at as something else.
No, it's not the threat of the, it's the fact that he is just doing his job. Okay? So why can't we know, the public know, that he is doing his job?
We've said that.
No, but see, look, there's a huge difference. There's an enormous difference between knowing Mark Harvey as an artist and there's knowing a salesman representing a company. Because you know the difference. You do. The salesman is proud of their product. They're proud of what they're selling. He is supposed to be selling us the critic and conscious society, the scholarship, the independence, and all of that. He is supposed to. Well, that's where you're wrong. He is representing the university.
And if his work disagreed with the university, and this is fact, we could shut down in fucking 5 seconds. Okay, so a guy was employed by Victoria University last year to film students in action, right? And he filmed Watu for a year. We are the university. Watu was making a protest at the university, and they were shut down by the police, by the university. This is a university that claims to be a critical conscience of New Zealand, who wishes students to become more critically informed, and the minute those fucking students use that to try and actually ask questions of that institution, they shut them down with the police. Not with discussion, not with anything else, with the police, violent. And they were non-violent
students' right to argument, kind of, because you signed a thing saying that you want protest.
Exactly, so you wanted to do that. So they've already got that tied up. Then when they went to show that work in an art gallery, they edited out everything that was to do with that. They got rid of all of the police stuff, they got rid of all of the protests, they got rid of everything. So the minute that you step on those toes, that's when you're out.
I entirely agree, and this John Lake's story would be very interesting to discuss right here.
But
I guess what I'm just saying is that we would have chosen Mark Harvey to do the work he did.
Sure. Excuse me, I don't know who's we. I don't know who's we. Can you explain that?
Well, it's living space. This is Sophie Jerem. These are the curators of Mark Harvey's project.
As we commissioned her, so we, can.
I don't think this is a reflection on whether you would or wouldn't. We're talking about.
I feel like I totally agree with you, and I'm in total agree. I would like to suggest.
You're not.
We are agreeing with you about the fact that academics should be in conscious of society. I'm just suggesting that I don't know whether Mark Harvey would have made it a different project. I suggest having known Mark Harvey way before he even entered the University of Auckland as an academic, would suggest he would never have done a different project had he still been working with the bottle washers at Parnell's.
Yeah, look, that's not the point.
No,
it really isn't. Okay,
it's not the table.
You really missed. For me, is that look? As I started off, the same. He is doing the work. It is perfect. It is excellent. It is critical and conscious work. That is not the point. The point is that the public don't know that that is his normal job. That he is actually paid to be representing us as a critical and conscious society. He is not an independent artist sponsored by Shell or Peter McCleavey Gallery or Halliburton, whatever products. He is sponsored by the taxpayer, and he has a responsibility to the taxpayer, not only through the the legal requirements. Okay. Now, it's perfectly acceptable in this culture for artists who are lecturers in the university, again, and charged with the noble sentiment of being a critical conscious society. So for some reason, it is acceptable that they present themselves solely as artists. They will mention that they end up in teaching by accident, or that they happen to have on the side. But what's important is that there are artists. Now that's not what's important. What is important is that we're paying them to do a really difficult job, to take the hits, to add and articulate and translate what is going on in our cultures. And if they cannot do that job because they risk being fired, if they cannot even make themselves visible, Mark's work today is incredibly radical. What is more radical in this environment than love, right? And he cannot put his employer's name out there openly and say, I am a defender of democracy as a critic and conscious of society. Thank you, Auckland University, for, I mean, you can say that, but I'm saying you can't do that in your public promotion. You can't put that on the front foot. And Noble can't, Parakofi can't, EL can't. They cannot actually admit that they are employees of a very important job. Well, what if part of being the critic and conscience of society is doing it discreetly or whatever, so that it doesn't seem biased or whatever?
Well, I think there is, okay. What an interesting privilege to be able to choose that. I didn't have that choice.
I remind you again that they are salespeople when they're selling student loans, to usually in the arts to privileged middle class group who have the money to spare. I mean, it's the thing you say, bottle washers society or something. Yeah, I mean, anyone who gets an arts degree, you can pretty much assume what their background is. to a large degree anyway. They're like, let's not kid ourselves too much.
Is it?
But they are salespeople. Anybody who's employed by university, tenure, whatever, they are selling students.
Well, I'm not down on salespeople, man. Like,
No, so am I. I'm saying it's like these divisions, some of these divisions become, less than arbitrary.
I just think hobbies work be taken as like inspiring people to go to art school.
Exactly.
It's great PR.
Exactly.
It's wonderful. And that's why he is at work.
Yeah,
even when he's not at work, technically, you're at work.
To sell
and that's why it was so hard for me not to participate. Because it was genuine and attractive and loved. And yet I'm looking at it like, no, you're actually trying to resuscitate something that's already lost its head.
Well, that's the more interesting point to me, which is because it seems to be saying at 2 points. One was the dump truck one. One is the one, about the role of someone who's employed by university. And it seems to me, I mean,
the dump truck, the body without the head, and the university lecturer who cannot actually do his job and critique the institution are the same thing.
I mean, for me, the dump truck is everything that stops productive bodies being the normal way that the world is. I mean, when you're talking about love being freely exchanged, I mean, there's things that stop that happening, and that's the dump truck. It's not, specific.
And yet the dump truck...
or even it stops the belief that things could be like that.
But we have the power to say, hello, dump truck, don't dump.
Well,
go to the dump.
Aren't we also more the source of the trash than the dump truck?
Well, no, I mean, the dump truck is part of the chain of a system. It's just a kink in the whole...
Maybe for what it is, Mussolini stated that fascism is merely a close association between state and corporate power. End quote. Right? A university is in that system. It is selling loans. It is dug deeply. It's embedded in capitalism.
Yeah.
Right?
But like
that's the dump truck.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
It's just pure capitalist fascism, which is everywhere. It's omnipresent. You can fight it, every 50 years or whatever.
So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We have this law that's very clear. You accept a role as a critic and conscious society. We have genuine people doing good work who are unable to promote the fact that they are doing good work on behalf of us as taxpayers.
Due to the close association between...
Exactly. So what are we going to do?
Well, then you smash fascism. You're going to...
No, we cannot smash fascism. You will die.
Well, yeah, people did. And
they will
again tell. Just like you got death threats, right? I mean, this conversation would be, slightly more pertinent if it happened to be 1928 in Vienna or something, right? But it's the same fucking conversation.
It's the same conversation.
Yeah.
So what, like, as an uninformed, don't know who you are, voice of a child here, with a beard. Yeah.
Thank you, beardy man.
What do you actually want? Like, what do you want?
Dream scenario.
What I've done is I've come across this information, grasped it, and then I've looked at it and I've gone, that's a conundrum. And I've gone, it's a conundrum that reflects exactly, I feel, where I'm at. And so I've gone, I want to just promote this conundrum.
Right. And is it like you're standing in front of a dam and there's all these holes that you're sticking with your fingers and then new holes appear?
I'm just reading into the bigger question because you re-highlight, and I think quite rightly personally, that Mark's work is just doing the small stuff of love where maybe individuals take away something individually and that empowers them, and that's great, but no, you're right, it doesn't stop the dump truck carrying on, it doesn't do that. So I'm really interested in what, as artists, we should be doing that is working on that.
It's very simple, like it's a job description. The law to be a university, you need to be doing these things. They're not doing those things. Right. Why are we giving them our money? They're not being a university. They're not being critical.
Like a surgeon didn't operate, or a dentist didn't take out teeth, or
You want a job at the university? Is that what you want?
To be a voice in.
I would like to be able to do that job, yeah.
Okay.
You know, I think there are small practical, like pragmatic things, and these don't answer this big question at all. But like, you know, things like the fact, why is there not a single senior lecturer at Victoria University or at Massey turning up to protest by students? Why?
You're talking problems, not solutions. I'm really interested.
It is a solution. Turn the fuck up.
Exactly. I want to hear the solution.
Turn the fuck up because it's your job. It's your job to turn up and to give love to those who are being repressed and minoritized within the university. That is a job.
Well, that's a good one. I'm just
Their
saying.
job is to do it on behalf of the people who like give them money, not like I don't know. It's like it's an institutionalized love. It's not like love.
Well, the real politics is that someone signs a check, but the reality, I'm sure, as Dale's pointed out, is that that check is provided by everybody.
Yes.
And effectively, therefore, you know, the signatories on your work.
We're talking about beneficiaries. University workers are beneficiaries. We benefit from the public tax. That's what we're doing.
No, we don't pay tax for that. We pay tax because if we don't, we get fucked over.
So, well, those are the other concerns there, certainly, yeah. There's the invisibility of what all of this is about.
I mean, this fight has always happened, and it's always going to happen, and I mean, isn't that part of it? Like, we need some boogeyman or some sort of thing to debate against, otherwise you just sit there kind of going, floating, like, I mean, lots of the work that I've achieved or participated in is because of my anger. It's not because of my satisfaction. I mean, if I was satisfied, then I would just sit down and drink lattes all the time, which I try and do as much as I can, but it's the fight, yeah. I mean, he's a fighter, and yeah.
Is the question that you're trying to ask, how do you create a situation where someone can ask these questions that you're asking from within the institution?
Yes. And not
rather than just sitting within your job description, producing what your job description says to a defined parameter. If this notion is part of your job is to be the critical consciousness or whatever lofty title is, but if you're just doing the teaching part, the easy part, how do you create a situation where you get somebody within those roles that can look back and challenge their own kind of role? I mean,
so that's where I'll come back in here. That's why I asked you, are you my audience? Now, some of you didn't get asked that question, but because I feel that maybe what I'm trying to do is get a group conscious here to say it's not okay that the critic of the conscious society that we pay for doesn't do the job. It's not okay.
Well, where are the critics elsewhere?
They're not allowed to do the job because they're threatened by the consequences of it.
Yes.
It's not necessarily that, like, I think there's choices within it, and I think Mark Harvey's made the choice to be here and do this work specifically.
Yep.
And he has the ability to choose what he's doing, but he's not necessarily allowed to go, like, outside of the parameters of it, and that's the issue.
So then the notion of choice is limited, actually. It's not
Yeah.
actually choice. Here are some options, but they are not choice.
Because part of the job is not doing the job.
Well, yeah, how much of what we do
I think that's the thing. Yes, Mark is allowed to do part of his job.
Yeah, it is like, he has made the choice to do this, and that it might operate within those parameters, but he has made the choice to do this specifically. He could have done a lot of different things.
Yeah, but again, it doesn't amount to what I need to be done as a taxpayer if I don't know I'm paying for him to do his job. If I don't see a critic and conscience of society being played out in the arts by the people that I'm paying to do that job, it doesn't happen. And if it doesn't happen, I'm not going to speak out. Because if these guys can't speak out who are paid to do the job, what chance have I got to stand against the machinery, the industrial military machinery that is pointed in my direction?
But that's history. That's for history to decide whether or not you have influence. I mean,
no, but there's actually, if we look at the kudos that people have who have a wage, who have money to spend, who have
social mobility, travel perks, contacts, and all the social benefits of being a university lecturer. How can I activate that? How can I make it actually work the way it's supposed to work?
Start a gang.
Well, what was that?
I'm just wondering if many people still believe that universities are holding, that responsibility, because I've long since.
Yeah, I don't listen to them.
And I think it's almost working against Mark rather than for him.
I agree.
I personally think universities still hold that responsibility. I think universities, and I'm not an artist, I think universities hold an enormous amount of power. If you look in many other kind of professions, whether it's nursing or medicine or social work or any of those other kind of social sciences, everything evolves around evidence-based practice. And where does that come from? That comes from a university. And so whole other disciplines within society are held to these standards which are measured by academics.
Well, if you look at the evidence for what is being a critic and conscience of society according to the university in terms of PBRF, it is getting major exhibitions and that kind of thing. It's not about the criticality of the work.
No, I agree. I mean, I take it really seriously as an academic myself, like that idea of the critic and conscience of society. But what I'm really noticing here as well is that there are massive gradations of power within the university. So say, for example, I've brought up repeatedly because I work as a tutor, that tutors are paid in really unstable contract conditions. We find out about a week before we're working, when we're working. We have no guarantee of getting enough work to live on, and often if we're overworked, we're criticised for the fact that we're overworking, not the fact that we don't have a living wage. I've brought this up repeatedly to professors that I work for, and these are the same professors who write long articles about how neoliberalism is destroying New Zealand and blah, 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 Peter Jackson, but they're not interested in addressing this at all, and in fact what they usually say to me is, I went through it, you can too, right?
Exactly.
So if we're looking for a solution, first solution would be for professors to actually recognise that the place they work in is a workplace as well, and if you want to be the critic and conscience of society, then maybe reform the workplace that you actually work in, especially when your employees are coming to you with justified grade.
We look at the obvious dichotomy of an organisation, and even within these, like the university, we take it just down to the arts. On the one hand, right, it creates a world of advertising executives who will sell with propaganda fascistic ideas, selling obsolescence, just crap which is going to break down, just destroy the planet, making bullshit. These people will come out of the same courses we're talking, out of the arts. At the same time, that's coming out of the right hand. Out of the left hand, there's going to be these high-minded individuals who are going to attempt to, reform the culture that they're born in. They're coming out of the same building, right? Out of the same courses. There is an endless and ancient battle going on here. It's not really. This is the thing. As I was saying, I mentioned 28 Vienna or whatever. But you can go through any point in time and recognise that universities that's on one hand that you can have an elite that stands silent and watches ugly things happen and can say to itself, we know better, right, and do nothing. That is not the case now. What you have now is universities that create monsters and send them out into the marketplace. Right?
They're only monsters from one perspective.
Well, no, anyone who helps you to buy some shitty Apple product from built with 1.5 million slaves that have got nets around the building because people jump out of the fucking thing. Also they drink shit water full of ugly chemicals. You know what I mean?
Isn't what we really have is the government perpetuating massive fraud through its use of universities to produce docile workers who will not challenge the fucking system.
Yeah, but they're dangerous workers. They're dangerous workers because they're trained up.
That's trained up. But it's this fraud at the level of government and university managers and so on and so forth. I don't know, that seems to be...
You're actually grappling with the concept of justice.
Yes.
So what you need to do is read Socrates' essay, Nico Ethics, which actually defined the concept of justice.
Do you know what I do about metaphysics? Rice like for me, you're pulling from a rule book on what justice is. What we need to see is to feel justice. We're told we got justice all the time. we've got a justice system, right? That takes care of your Socrates, your every other theorist, because it's an operation. It is a daily reality. It's not a theory.
We have to feel justice, and I don't know who you are, but I'm actually.
Oh yeah, Gregory.
Awesome. I guess I feel like this reminds me of something from the 70s, because we can't get into that. Isn't it all dreadful? Isn't the system just horrid? And you know, there are people in the Mac factories, you know, having terrible times, and it's all just unassailable. And I guess what
that's not my take.
well, that's what it feels like when I listen to you ranting. And what I'm interested in with Harvey's work, yeah, I mean it is. I mean, because it's just like it's kind of like this constant kind of and I feel like Harvey's work is offering a gesture of love, which we can take at an individual level, or we can take as a suggestion for us all. And I guess that's where I'm hoping. That's
yes,
where that's
but he's not an individual. He's part of a larger societal system, and he has a role to play in that system. So it's not.
Taylor, we agree. We agree.
You accuse me of ranting, which is nice.
Yeah, but so let's just take a moment.
What does Mark have to say about this?
Wait. Before, can I grab control of my corner? No, you can't. Wait, shut up.
Use your man voice.
I would love Mark to have a chance to reply. If we're in agreement that this critical conscience of society is not happening, it's a job requirement that is not happening. Are we in agreement with that?
Yes,
I agree.
Does anyone want to disagree? Like, just in general. Okay, well that's I've never had that before, so that's a real achievement for me to.
Well, I wouldn't take that as a success. This bunch of people
People holding their tongue.
It's my expectation to know.
For instance, you've got an entire room full of people who are probably deeply involved in the university system, yourself included. So where, are you not part of the critical consciousness you're seeking? And the university has produced that in you. Maybe it's just a reaction, but to the constraints that system is producing.
Yes.
Well, I don't actually think that it's like a job requirement that's not being fulfilled. I think that it's not as simple as critical conscious of society, because what that entails to them isn't what it entails to you. So they are being the critical conscience of critic and conscious of society, whatever. But
well,
it's just not
the wording says to accept a role. Okay. And
but they do it
that's a very good point. When you accept a role, what does that mean? Because it's a slippery argument, but I want to address it, because if you accept a role, does that imply other people understand you're in a role? That you are fulfilling a role? You have a task to achieve? Mark?
Can I make a response? Is it to your response? Yeah, thank you.
I'm sorry, just in general. I just was on flow there.
No, sorry. Okay, you continue. Sorry. I'll wait. I don't know. What's the question you asked? Whether people realise they're in that role? I mean, the question before that, is that something that you can actually do inside a university?
No, they're
critical.
No, it's that they define the role, so they are doing it because they define it.
Well,
it's
no,
not
he's
that
saying
defines the
they're not
role.
doing that.
I'm saying that
we all agree that they're all
But is it something that you can actually do from within that confined space? Like, I don't know. I work in Newtown, and I never see the face of Victoria University, or Western University, walking down the streets of Newtown, trying to tell me what the vertical and conscious thought of Newtown is.
Well,
so is it something that is actually
let me answer.
possible?
When you listen to a scientist or a social, sometimes you get economists, they will tell you if they're a part of an institution, what institution they're a part of. Okay? Why is it different for artists?
Because they want to be a part of the institution.
Yes, I don't care. They are required. They are required to acknowledge that they fulfill a role in that institution as critical conscious society, and they owe me to do that role. Because I've paid. Because I need that protection.
Do you?
Yes.
What is it? Why do you need that?
If what we're talking about here is if there's not an active body of people translating and interpreting what is happening in the world for an audience, then what is there to participate in other than the default market?
Create a world. It's so simple.
It's just too idealistic again. It's too idealistic, and it's just too idealistic. What the fuck is that? Come in, man.
It's so starting to be so pointing out anything that's and going from the 70s, to be honest. You know,
trading on a rhetorical.
No, but it's embarrassing. It's already, you know, the same what? It's like, oh no, don't mention anything negative. Divorce everybody from the 70s and the war. Donald Rumsfeld was running that fucking war.
Yeah.
He ran the last one. You're like, oh, it sounds like the 70s. It is the bloody 70s, it's the 40s. Let's try and get to core issues which exist through time and space. We're talking about Socrates and justice. Yeah, health, justice. These things exist forever. They were once worshipped as gods, right? Let's get back to things which are eternal and important. You know, and actually, yeah, fuck off the dump truck. Let's stick with it. Love's nice, but there's going to be more than this banter, you know?
No, I guess my point is that I wanted from tonight a response to Mark's work, and I can't deal with every issue on the world stage right now.
Well, can I respond to his performance to there's real frustration because these issues are so huge. Okay, it's very easy to talk about all the exterior pressures and the global environment that we're in. What I've done, all I've been able to do is grab what existing law says. Existing law. I'm not inventing something. It's not a personal crusade and I'm trying to get something made or invented. This already exists. It has existed since 1989 and it's been ignored. Why is it being ignored? That's what I'm asking.
Was this an opportunity for you to reiterate what you're continually passionate about, or because you were invited to in specific response to Mark's work? So do you always connect every single thing back to your personal fight? Well, we all do, yeah. But I mean,
do you have a personality, Sal?
This is it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's so because you've got a bone to pick, and you're always going to fight that fight. And whereas Mark's work was, I didn't see it, but for me it sounds like a simple act that happened on the street, and so it wasn't a simple act that happened on the street. Okay. I'm totally. I
believe in that.
I came here to see Teo, and now all of a sudden we're in this massive fight, and I like it. But at the same time, I'm not sure if we're getting anything sussed.
I think what I want to say is that this anger and the confusion and is difficult to focus. But that's why I'm bringing it back to the law that already exists. Why is it ignored?
Could we, because I know we're running out of time and I know we're actually outstaying our welcome in terms of Claudia and the goodwill they have us here.
Christ, you really need to leave. What time is it?
No, it's okay.
No, it's not okay.
No,
You
I
need
see
to leave.
here.
This is it. Sorry, that's the performance over.
Well,
You were right to reply.
Just a short run.
Just quickly.
This is my fucking performance.
I personally would really like to Mark.
Well, I just want to say that I heard Taylor.
No.
I can't say
We've run out of time. We've run out of time. This is over. This is an economic unit like everything else. This is it. Over. Everyone out. Talk outside. Hey, grab the street. It's free. Grab the street. It's free. Everyone out.
I agree.
Listen, I'm going to say this. I feel like we've been generous to you. Yes. I feel we've been ungenerous in I think that's kind of sad. Yeah, I feel like my trust has been broken. We talked about it. Yeah. Hey, can you offer me that? Well, we can, but I think we're going to try and close it off.
Cheers, man. It's better than sticking in your arm, but pretty close to sticking in your arm.
Laura, do you guys want some fruit?